Hi, 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 hi. So I'm Kelvin T. So I, the music that I make, I think most people call it experimental club music, and sometimes I don't really want to fit myself into a genre, but somehow experimental club music kind of fits, also kind of fits me because what I really like to do is to treat every musical project as an experiment. I want to test out if things would work like this, if things could work like that. So, and I think that's kind of the spirit of of being experimental, and the club music part is like I try to see how I can make people dance in a club while still trying to experiment with different ideas. So this song is called Objects Talking. I'll minimize the window. Right. So yeah. Right. So the concept of this song is that I try to imagine that synthesizers can have a voice, like they can sing, they can get angry at you, they can scream at you. So like this is the whole idea of this song, and so I think about like how I can turn this concept into reality. So and then the easiest way for me to do is to put like vocal effects into synthesizers so that it can sound like it's singing. And the best example is with the main melody on these two brown tracks. So what I did here is I use a plug Ableton's plugin, and then I add a bunch of effects on top of it. But the main ingredient here is the vocoders. So vocoders, as we all know, are used for our human voices. But then I thought about what if I put vocal effects into synthesizers? So then originally, this is how it sounds like without the vocoders. And then this is how it sounds like when I added a bunch of like vocoders on top of it. Yeah, so vocoders can I feel like Ableton's vocoders have really helped me to turn all of my sounds into something completely different. But then the challenge is I have to think about how I can use it in a musical context because you can't just have a song that goes like this for like what 5 minutes, you know. So I need to put some elements into it so that it can make people dance. But I'll talk about the things that I make this synthesizer work first. So yeah, other than the vocoder, I also put an auto tune right here. So before I used all so as we all know, auto tune are used for human voices so that it can pitch correct your sound to a specific key. But this time I don't really want it to have a voice inside, but also I want to make a voice without having a human. So so then the easiest way for me is to pull a bunch of vocal effects on top of it, and this is one of them. Right. Right. So and also I think like the quality the sound like the sound quality, the timbre of it is very, very important. So then I also put a grain delay on top of it. And if you change the grain delay drastically, it can have a huge amount of change to it. Wait. Oh shit, it's the wrong track. Yeah, the yeah. So then I move on to the drums right here. So for the drums, I separate it into three different tracks. So the first one is mainly for kick drums. So kick drum with a longer decay or shorter decay, they're all in one track. Right, so as you can tell, those two kicks have really different sounds, and also, but the main difference is the decay time, which is right here. And also for the drum, I have also put a vocoder effect to make it sound really, really different, and also to give it this really good punch to the kick drums. Um, yeah, and then for like other sounds, I put it into this track right here. This is actually just the 909 kit from Ableton, but I have put a lot of effects on top of it, like mainly the vocoder, drum bus, and also the reverb. That's the main three that makes that special sound. Right. So vocoders have a really unique quality to it because it can kind of sustain your sound, which you can do it right here. Or you can make it have a really short decay time. So that's what I did with the drums. So I can just solo these for you guys so that you can have a listen to these. And there's also these. Right. And yeah, this is just the hi-hat. And yeah, and then there's these two purple tracks right here. So these tracks are actually made with a synthesizer, but if I solo them, it would sound like something like a demon. So the reason why this thing kind of sounds rhythmic is because of the auto pan function here. Auto pan, what I did here is this thing right here. What I did is that I automate the rate here so that so it can go to different rhythms at different times. So as you can see at the beginning, the rate is at 2 beats. Is that 2 bars? So it kind of sounds like it wants to talk to you, but then at this point, it kind of glitches a little bit. Right, so then, so what I did with the, so what I did with with this purple track right here is that I I synthesized it with these functions right here. So these can really help you to create create entirely new textures um, out of really normal sounds. So I'll just drag this into here, and then I can just pitch it up, and then turn on play with all these different settings right here. So, right, and then the other special thing about this song, let me just open it up again because I messed it up. So the other thing that's kind of special about this song is that the BPM changes every once in a while. So right here, the BPM is at 120. But then I quickly jumped up to 135. So as you can see here, these are two different BPMs. And the reason I put two different BPMs in the same song is because usually when you hear a song in a club, it's always just one BPM, and for the entire song it's one BPM. But I want to challenge that idea. So like, how can I make a song that's kind of evolving every every 1 minute or every few bars? So I wanted to challenge myself to make this track that's kind of evolving, just like a human that kind of grows. Like this, like every human will grow. This song will continually grow by time. And so, let's see. And so when you get to this point, it jumps back at 120 again. But then at this point, the BPM starts to slowly rise at this point. So you can tell on the top left corner right here, the BPM changes really slowly. And I can open the automation track for you. It looks like this. And then another thing with this song is that back to this synthesizer right here. So if I press one note, it will make one pitch, which is quite easy to understand. But the thing with this synthesizer right here is that the special thing about vocoders is that it can only process one pitch at a time. So if I input two notes at a time into the vocoder, it starts to create all these weird textures, which I really, really enjoy. So so I press the F note and then the A note. But if I press them together, it kind of creates this weird texture to it. And so that's what I really like to play with in this track. As you can see, there's all these notes on top of each other. And also, the thing with this track is that I wanted it to be kind of rhythmic. So so then what I did to it is that I chop up a little bit of this of these samples right here, and then I duplicate it. I just basically looped it around here. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much the whole thing about this song. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry. So I'm wondering when you're doing the live set, you may have different Ableton Live project. So how you arrange the transition during your live set? Is there tools or any your own way to uh, do the transition?
I can show you my my live project actually. So let's see. So what I did for my live project is that well basically I made a lot of the songs in my album with Ableton, so it makes sense to perform with Ableton. So then when I perform a live set, I just need to prepare a launch pad and my laptop and also my audio interface for vocals. So then I can just launch all these different clips right here, and then I can just perform really easily. And or maybe like I can just press here and the beat would drop. Yeah, so and then when I try to go to the next song, I just press the next clip. Slowly bring down the BPM. Yeah, so something like that. Yeah. And like as you can see, my whole live project, it's basically just a diagonal
It's in the
line.
same file.
Oh, this like the whole file?
You put all the different project in the same
Yeah,
live
yeah,
set file.
yeah, exactly. Like that's what I do with my live set. But sometimes I don't. Sometimes I try to also use some other hardware during my live because if I just keep on using my laptop, it kind of seems like I'm checking emails, you know?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
get it.
yeah. So I don't want to check emails on stage. So then I usually would have another piece of hardware out here, or sometimes I would do like vocals on stage. Yeah, so then let's see. And yeah, I have this, and then when I try to like put um instrumentals into my track, I just simply play the instrumental and just sing with my microphone. Yeah, so like that's basically my live set.
Okay, I get
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
All right. Any more questions? Okay, we're done.
So thanks Kelvin T for sharing. 冇所謂啦。 俾個 jet 我。So yeah, that's the end for today, basically. So